my beautiful creatives out there. I hope everybody is having a fabulous day. How are we going to take a mess like this and turn it into something beautiful? Stick around and you're about to find out. So jumping in here with a universal tip. I am set at about a 6 for this particular spot here. It is a V, an M, and an I. This is the third piece in a set that I'm doing for a boys military journey. So as I'm going through the M here, I want it to stand out. I want it to be different. So I have a high heat setting with the universal tip, and I'm just going through and I'm really just touching the tip onto there, almost like kind of in a dotted effect, but holding it there slightly longer to get a really nice dark burn that adds a little bit of texture and dimension to it that you'll see here pretty soon when I hold it up a little closer for you. Excuse me. So there you go. You can see there's a little more texture to it. It's a little darker. I want the M to stand out differently, of course, than the V or the I. So now jumping into the V, I'm just taking the same universal tip. I'm laying it down along my lines, my pencil lines I have here, and I'm dragging it in towards the center. And I'm flipping the spoon all around, or spatula, whatever we want to call it. And I'm flipping it around every which way so that I can get the right angle, so I can lay it kind of a little flatter on the edge and pull in towards the middle. I do really, truly love this shading effect. It gives it a very nice look. Can you see there? Now, please ignore the pencil lines that are still here. I leave them on there until I pretty much have my lines burned where I can erase them off of there, and without making sure that I'm not missing something. So again, sometimes it's easier to create just a more of a whimsical picture, or something with a lot more shading and character to it. Sometimes it's a little more difficult to do lettering, or to do something that has to be so precise and measured out. So I have a lot of lines on here so that I can be sure to follow. So now that I'm done with the V, I've jumped into the I here, and I switched it up to the angled tip. It's like the diagonal V tip, and I turned that the setting was about a 6.5 for the M. For the V, I turned down to right around a 5, and now for the I, I'm down to about a 4 with my walnut hollow machine here. And I'm doing that because I want the different lightnesses, the different textures, so that each letter itself will stand out. And all I really did for the I was kind of lay that tip flat and use a circular motion, very light circular motion, using that point to get in to the edges. So standard eraser, guys, it doesn't take much. Just go over and erase the pencil lines so that it looks like a crisp, precise, burned piece. And of course, to tie it in together with my other pieces, I'm adding the boot prints. So I decided to do just 2 kind of up at the top here instead of having them go down the handles, as you will see in my other videos. I'll show you in the end here how they all tie together, but for these particular boot prints, I'm doing the same as I kind of did with the V. I'm laying this universal tip slightly sideways to go around the very edges of each tread of the boot. And as I lay it on the edge, I'm pulling in towards the center. Trying very carefully not to make sure that I don't want it to be solid. I don't want the treads to be colored in absolutely solid, but I don't want them to look as broken up as one of the other spoons from this set that I did. So I'm kind of trying to take this one middle of the road between the other 2. So that's why I'm trying to fade it in more like the V. Now for the star shape kind of tread in the center of the boot, this universal point is perfect because you could just very carefully lay it down and get that rounded shape for the star point that brings it all together. So here's the finished piece of the last spoon from this set. Now I'm going to jump into showing you how I'm tying all of these together. So this was the first piece of the set that I did. However, I left the handle blank, and I decided somewhere along the line that since it was a set and I wanted to tie them together, the boot prints was how I was going to do that, representing, you know, this boy's military journey, trying to really represent that. So because the main part of this spoon is such a dark texture, I'm going through, I'm making the outline of each tread very dark. I'm burning at a high heat, around a 6, and I'm going in the same star-like pattern. I can really touch the top, the bottom, and each side of this star-type pattern in the center of the tread there, and it gives it kind of a rounded effect on them, just by touching because of the shape of this universal tip. So I want to make these boot prints very dark, very prominent. On the second piece that I did that goes with this, the top of the spatula on that one is supposed to be more broken up, more muddied. So I tried to carry that through the boot prints on that particular piece so that it was more broken up, more muddied. So this one I wanted to be the definite burn, and the one that I just did that you guys just got done watching was more of a faded effect. So that each one is unique in its own right, yet it all brings the pieces together to tie them into being a set. So at the 6 or so set heat, this is pretty easy to just kind of touch now that I've outlined the treads, to just go back in and kind of touch through them and get a really nice dark burn all the way through. So just another fun way to start to tie all of the pieces together. Again, I'm just trying to show you guys like the tip that I use, how quick and easy it really is to just get this rounded effect when you pick the right tools. Have fun with it, guys, as always. I hope that you guys learned something from my tutorials. Please comment below anything that you would like to see me jump into. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you catch the next videos that are coming out. I usually try to always make sure that there's a new video coming out every Thursday, and I hope that you guys really get something from this. So here you go, guys, the 3 pieces tied together. There is kind of the muddied one. There is the one that you just watched the complete piece. And there is the one that I just did the nice, dark, definite footprints. Again, each one different and unique in its own right, yet tied together perfectly, just like you and me.